Hello. I've gotten a ton of comments asking me to make a tutorial for my YouTube videos, so I finally decided to make one. Although it might not be the most professional, I found that this process works best for me. I basically have a pipeline process. It goes from getting an idea, writing the script, recording and editing the audio, storyboarding, character design, line art, coloring, adding backgrounds, stitching all the frames together, then finally exporting the video. So to get an idea, I'm usually subconsciously thinking about a new video all the time. By the time I have to make a new video, I have a list of different ideas I've been brainstorming. If I don't use some of the ideas, I'll save them for a later video, which leads to me having a big master doc of ideas just to pick from. To come up with interesting videos, I tend to take inspiration from my own life. I'll think of a scenario and ask myself, what's the worst possible thing that could happen right now? Then, I'll pick the idea I like the most to write the script. At first, I'll usually make a bullet list of what I want to happen. For my past video, I wrote this out. Of course, I'll add extra details as I see fit when writing. For example, I decided to make the main character an author, so I'd be able to add in a scene where the person who broke into her house writes on her keyboard. After I'm done writing, I like to get one of my friends to help me proofread it. To make sure my plot twist is completely shocking, I'll remove the ending and ask my proofreader to guess what happens next. Depending on their answer, I'll completely rewrite the ending to be the opposite of their prediction. Afterwards, I usually ask my friend Juan to edit and help me make some of the scenes more interesting. When I get the story back, there will be tons of highlights and comments from him telling me how to improve my writing, which I always appreciate. So a big thank you to Juan. I would also like to thank Akko for sending me these two beautiful keyboards. I used both of these to help me write my last video. The first one is a World Tour Tokyo R23084B+. This keyboard comes with a cord, keycap puller, and tweezers. The artwork on this keyboard is just beautiful. There are different kinds of stunning backlight settings that are easily switchable too. The second one is a Prunus Lannesiana 3068B+. It comes with a cord to connect it to your laptop or PC, switchable novelty keys, and a keycap puller. I love how nicely the colors work together, the different kinds of RGB backlight settings, and how it sounds. Here's a typing test so you guys can see as well. Thank you again to Akko for sending me these two keyboards. Now the next part is recording the audio. To record my audio, I use Audacity and a blue snowball with a mic cover. When recording the audio, I usually have the script open in another tab and read off of it. Once I record the full audio, I'll go back and re-record certain lines that don't sound right. Afterwards, I'll add some sound effects and royalty-free background music. Then, I'll import the audio into Sony Vegas 15. I'll slowly begin sketching the scenes to fit the story, and stitch them together. The drawing software I use is Clip Studio Paint. To storyboard, I prefer to use my XP Artist 12 Pro, since it's a smaller screen, and a little easier to draw with. I love this little Sunny Angel attachment my boyfriend got for me. He's so cute. Take note, these are extremely rough sketches. I don't want anything to be perfect yet. I just want to be able to see how the video might look. Once I'm done storyboarding, and I'm satisfied with how it visualizes my story, I'll begin to do some character design. I like to look on Pinterest for outfits, and I have a board just filled with simple ones for videos. I just play around with the hair and skin color until I like it. Then, I'll create a mini color palette on the side to use for later. Finally, I get to do the fun part, which is line art and coloring. For this portion, I switched to my gaomon PD 2200. It has a bigger screen so it's easier to draw the details. I adore this part the most in the process. It will take me around 2 to 4 days to finish lining everything, depending on how busy I am and how long the video is. Then, I'll fill all the colors frame by frame. This is when the video really starts to come to life. Once everything is nice and neat, I'll use Clip Studio Paint to create the backgrounds. I like using the 3D models to make everything have more depth. Finally, I'll begin to export all the files. When exporting the files, I like to make a purple overlay layer that's around 15% opacity, so all the colors blend easier together. I save all the files over the original sketches, so it'll be in the same order in Sony Vegas 15. That way, I'll save myself some time from having to make new JPEGs, and having to resync all the images to the audio. I test watched the video and put in some last minute touches. Then, it's ready to be exported. I just searched up best YouTube render video settings for my settings. Now, you have a YouTube video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this answers all your questions. If you have any more, please comment and I'll try to answer. So goodbye for now, but not forever.